When Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce finally tied the knot, it felt like the collision of two universes: pop music royalty and football glory. Fans had been speculating for months, ever since whispers of an engagement surfaced on social media, but no one could have predicted the grandeur of the wedding itself. The ceremony, held in an undisclosed but breathtaking European castle, quickly became the most talked about event of the year. Unlike many celebrity weddings that try to avoid the spotlight, Swift and Kelce leaned into it, allowing curated glimpses of their big day to spread across the internet. Photos of Taylor walking down the aisle in a custom-designed gown, rumored to be worth over $1 million, flooded Twitter and Instagram within minutes. For Swifties, it wasn't just a wedding, it was a cultural milestone. Taylor has built her career on love stories, heartbreak anthems, and fairy tale imagery. To see her walk down the aisle in real life with an NFL superstar was almost too perfect, like one of her songs had finally come true. Meanwhile, sports fans saw one of their greatest tight ends entering a new kind of end zone: marriage with the biggest pop star on the planet. But the true shock came not just from the romance, it came from what came after. As news outlets began to dig deeper, details about the couple's combined net worth and joint assets emerged, painting a picture of wealth and influence so vast that even their most dedicated fans were stunned. Some estimates suggest that their union created a joint empire worth well over $1.3 billion. That figure doesn't just represent bank accounts, it represents music royalties, NFL contracts, real estate empires, fashion brands, and future business ventures. Together, they became not just a couple in love, but an economic powerhouse unlike anything pop culture has ever seen. Still, the wedding itself remains unforgettable. Guests included a who's who of global celebrities: Beyoncé and Jay-Z, Ed Sheeran, Patrick Mahomes, Selena Gomez, and even legends from both music and sports worlds. Reports suggest that security for the wedding alone cost upwards of $5 million, with strict NDAs ensuring that no unapproved videos or photos would leak. The reception was equally dazzling. Sources say Taylor herself performed a private acoustic set, while Travis took the mic later in the night to give a heartfelt speech that left the crowd in tears. The menu was rumored to feature Michelin star chefs, while the wine list included bottles older than the bride and groom. Yet for all its glamour, what fans keep coming back to is the symbolism. This wasn't just a celebrity wedding, it was the merging of two worlds. Music and sports had always lived side by side in American culture, but never had they been united in such a dramatic and high-profile way. For Swift and Kelce, the wedding was the beginning of their next chapter. But for the world, it was the start of endless speculation. What would life look like for a couple whose combined wealth, fame, and influence rivaled entire industries? The answer lay in the numbers, and in the assets that shocked even the most prepared fans. When people talk about Taylor Swift, the conversation often begins with her music. From the dreamy country ballads of her teenage years to the record-breaking pop anthems of her 30s, Swift has built a career unmatched in both scope and longevity. Yet what makes her unique isn't just her songwriting, it's the empire she has constructed around her artistry. By the time she married Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift was no longer just a pop star. She was a billion-dollar business in human form. At the core of Taylor's empire is her music. With more than 200 songs in her catalog, she earns millions annually from royalties alone. Every stream on Spotify, every play on radio, every sync in film or TV contributes to her fortune. But it's touring that has truly catapulted her into billionaire territory. Her Eras Tour, a cultural phenomenon unlike anything the music industry has seen in decades, shattered records worldwide. Grossing well over $1 billion, it became the highest-grossing tour in history, with Swift personally taking home hundreds of millions after expenses. The demand was so overwhelming that ticketing systems crashed, resale prices skyrocketed, and Swift herself became the subject of congressional hearings about monopolies in the live entertainment industry. By the time she walked down the aisle, the Eras Tour had not only padded her bank account but also elevated her to the status of the most powerful touring artist alive. What truly solidified Taylor's reputation as a financial powerhouse, however, was her decision to reclaim ownership of her music. After a highly publicized dispute over the sale of her master recordings, Swift launched the ambitious project of re-recording her first 6 albums. The strategy was risky but brilliant. With each release of Taylor's version, fans flocked to stream and purchase the new recordings, effectively devaluing the originals while funneling profits back to Swift herself. This move not only restored her creative control but also ensured that the majority of profits from her legacy work now flow directly into her pocket. It was more than a business win, it was a cultural statement, positioning her as an artist who would not be exploited by the industry. The financial payoff? Estimated to be worth hundreds of millions over the next decade. Beyond music, Taylor has invested heavily in real estate. Her portfolio reads like a global monopoly board. A $50 million penthouse complex in New York's Tribeca, a Rhode Island seaside mansion, famous for hosting her star-studded 4th of July parties. Multiple Nashville properties, including the condo where her career began, a Beverly Hills estate, once owned by Hollywood royalty. Recent whispers suggest she has added properties in London and the Bahamas. Altogether, her real estate holdings alone are valued at more than $150 million. These homes aren't just places to live, they're symbols of her dominance, and in some cases, stages for her carefully curated public persona. Though Swift is selective about endorsements, her partnerships are enormously valuable. Past collaborations with Apple Music, Coca-Cola, and Keds have paid handsomely, while her brand association with fashion houses has only grown stronger. Yet what makes Taylor unique is her ability to monetize without over-commercializing. Unlike many celebrities who attach their name to every product, Swift picks carefully, preserving her authenticity and keeping her brand in high demand. Her influence has reached the point where even a casual mention can alter the fortunes of a company. Economists coined the term the Taylor effect to describe how her presence boosts local economies during tour stops. Hotels, restaurants, and even cities themselves see revenue spikes when Swift comes to town. By marrying Kelce, she brought that same economic magnetism into the world of sports. What many fans don't realize is that Taylor Swift's greatest asset may not be her cash, but her intellectual property. Her songwriting credits span not only her own discography but collaborations with other artists. Each of these songs continues to generate revenue year after year. In addition, her film ventures, documentaries, and rumored Broadway ambitions suggest that she's far from done expanding. Industry analysts predict that if she continues at her current pace, Swift's net worth could approach $2 billion within the next decade, independent of Kelce's fortune. By the time she said, "I do," Taylor Swift was no longer just a singer-songwriter. She was a mogul. Her empire spanned music, real estate, branding, and cultural influence, making her one of the wealthiest and most powerful women in entertainment history. This is the empire she brought into her marriage, a fortune so vast that it could rival entire corporations. But in joining forces with Travis Kelce, the narrative shifted. It was no longer about what she owned individually, but about what they could build together. And that's where the story gets even more surprising.